when we're playing with like Shania Twain, I'm looking around and I'm like, how did she crack the code that there's like 15,000 people here, half of them are husbands or sons, burly 45-year-old men singing Man, I Feel Like a Woman like this.
You know, Villain is a song now that you're going to get the chance to move up in the set list should you want to, because you have other hits, which has got to be the craziest feeling.
The thing that was so cool about this tour, it was the first time in my entire career, in playing shows for 12 years, first time that I have, my entire set list was released and out for the world.
Do you remember attending a concert where you're like, what was that? Does that have a name, that kind of composition?
Probably annoys everyone, and my wife always rolls her eyes, but I always just stand and just like watch the crowd, because I'm just genuinely curious what makes the song a hit.
Do you think that comes from reffing basketball for so long?
Done your homework, let's go. I love it.
Lily Rose, hello.
What's going on, man?
How are you?
I couldn't be better. I appreciate you guys pivoting. I know I caused a little bit of a stir yesterday, so thank you.
Actually, I'm going to let you off the hook because I was so close to being like, hey, can we push this a day just to make sure? I had the most insane day yesterday. So you're fine. You're totally fine. It worked out.
Is that not the best when you get off the hook from something when you're about to shoot that text and then you're like, phew.
This is how you know you're in your 30s, is when someone reschedules plans, like not even cancel, just reschedule to a more convenient time and you don't have to be the one at fault for it.
Oh my gosh, it is truly the best. There's nothing better.
So you are off the hook. We'll start with this. Lily Rose, where does someone put a platinum record in their house?
Oh, man. I've already got the gold one hanging up. You know, gold is 500,000 copies and platinum is 1 million.
Platinum
so I think it's just going to take the place. I think it's just going to take the place.
Okay.
And then I got to find...
The gold just takes dust somewhere? Or?
I'm sure it'll end up on somebody else's wall somewhere that's helped me, you know, along the way. I would assume I'll probably toss it over to my parents' house because they were kind of the day ones, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, you already said it, but you know, 1 million units sold is platinum on any single song. For the perspective, anyone's like, oh, you know, 1 million streams isn't that crazy. 150 streams equals 1 sale.
Yes.
So it's not an easy feat. Of course, this is on Villain, a song that launched Lily Rose into our ears about 5 years ago, almost to the day.
To the day. Today.
Is
December
it
10th.
Literally?
Today is the 5-year anniversary of Villain.
That's why we had to push it.
Yep. And I honestly, sometimes, you know, for it being such a pivotal day in my life, I honestly forgot until this morning. We were talking about Villain and I was like, oh my gosh, it's a 5-year anniversary. So I gotta get up on Instagram and thank everybody for 5 years of Villain.
That's so cool. To have 5 years be the exact point that you get the platinum record presented to you on the Opry stage, where you're sharing the stage with one of our mutually favorite bands, the band Camino, by the way.
Oh my gosh. I've loved them for a long time. Do you remember the band Boys Like Girls? Like back in the day. Yeah, right.
I remember Boys Like Girls.
You never know. Some kids are emo kids and some are lived under a rock. But
we're cut from the same cloth.
Okay, good. Well, the lead singer of that had his own project called The Night Game, and back in 2018, I went to the Exit Inn by myself in Nashville, Tennessee, and saw The Night Game, and the band Camino opened, and they only had like 4 songs released. They still lived in Memphis, and I fell in love then. And to see them blow up is not shocking at all, but it was one of the first bands that I sent my wife like a song of like, I miss you, and it means a lot to us as a household, but also me as a musician. So it was pretty wild to share the stage with them, dude.
That's so cool. I just saw band Camino a couple weeks ago here in Chicago, and then Afterthought came out a week after, and I got a chance I was talking to them a little bit backstage. Dude, how good is it? It's
crack.
By the way,
it's actual crack.
So good. So, you know, I'm doing my research, and just let me rewind just a little bit, right? Find out that I'm getting a chance to talk to you, start doing my research, and I was like, why does her name sound so familiar? And I was like, Sad in the Summer. I didn't even put the two together. And we covered this on our radio show when Diplo put it out. I was like 2 or 3 years ago, right?
Yep.
And I was like, her voice sounds really, really familiar. And then obviously I put it to Villain. But then I started listening through the project, right? So new album, I Know What I Want, 13 songs in total, came out a few months ago. I listened to the first track because I'm always hesitant to listen to an album now because you never know if people are going to go the cohesive route or if it's going to be a bunch of singles that got released over 12 months, right?
Totally.
So personally very relieved to hear this is a very cohesive album, right?
Okay, I'm glad to hear
Start
that.
to finish. But the first song, even after everything, I was like, wait, this kind of sounds like an intro to a Band Camino track. A little bit. You got like this driving guitar in the background.
Yeah, man.
It makes more sense.
Yeah, I'm a big rock girl. I would say indie pop rock is probably my number one genre. Usually,
Yeah.
I was kind of a pop girly this year with Tate McRae and everything. But usually, it's all Laney, 1975, Band Camino. I just love them. And speaking of Boys Like Girls, Paul DiGiovanni, who's the guitar player, he was the guitar player in Boys Like Girls, is my producer. So
No way.
he is,
Very
which
cool.
is a really cool full circle moment for me. And Seth Ennis, who wrote that, Even After Everything with me and Paul, he writes all of the songs with Band Camino. So it all kind of makes sense. If you really look at all the players that are like in the writing room and then who's the one producing it, it all kind of makes sense of why there's so much like pop rock inspiration behind the song.
Well, in Nashville specifically too, I mean, I started in country music in 2016, and it wasn't exactly, I have a huge appreciation for it, but it wasn't my thing, right? I'm a pop guy. I grew up working on the Kiss FMs in the world, stuff like that. But I definitely came up when Body Like a Back Road, Sam Hunt was taking over. I know you know about Sam and stuff like that. So I started to be like, okay, him, the Thomas Rhetts, that's a whole new level of like country that I can relate to. Anything that's driven from that pop rock sound. But I started going to Nashville a lot then. And then you start to realize how many rock records were starting in Nashville. Not that it's not rooted, in Tennessee in general, but, especially in the last 6, 7, 8 years. And you talk about Camino, Boys Like Girls, All Time Low, recording down there.
Yep.
It all starts to come together.
Even Jelly Roll, Jelly was rock hip hop first, and then kind of made his way over into country. But he's Nashville born and raised. So yeah, I think that's one of the big misconceptions about Nashville, and that's what I actually said in the circle because I played directly before Band Camino, and I was just kind of like, y'all might not know them because they're not country, but like whoever your favorite artist is in country music, their favorite band is the Band Camino. So like,
100%.
show them some love. They're
100%.
They're Nashville's golden boys.
Yeah. Which I asked them a question. I was talking to him after the show, and Garrison's from Arkansas, the drummer, and so is my dad. So we kind of connect on the South roots a little bit there. And I was like, because they opened with Daphne Blue, one of their original hits that they're known for, right? And I was like, how cool is it to be able to open with one of your biggest hits? And they just celebrated 10 years as a band. So I'm going to ask you something similar. Not that I know your set list verbatim, but I know Villain is a song now that you're going to get the chance to move up in the set list should you want to, because you have other hits, which has got to be the craziest feeling.
It feels really great. Nothing, just truly like data-wise has done anything close to Villain yet, but my fans are really interesting because I go to a lot of concerts and I look left to right and kind of like, are people singing every word to this artist's song or are they just singing the hits? And when it comes to my fans, you kind of don't really know the difference of what a huge song would be for me and what a deep cut is because they kind of sing them all the same level, except for Villain. It is still far and away the song that is the most hype and the loudest and the one they scream the most for and get excited for. So I'm excited to keep writing because, I got a song called like Back Pew and the Diplo song, Sad in the Summer. Those get big pops and it's exciting to be able to sprinkle in those songs. But for right now, Villain's got to stay towards the end or else I fear my fans might leave early because golly,
they won't leave on you.
I know, no, they wouldn't. But no, I think as an artist, when you have your first hit, you're just kind of like dying to get to Villain because nobody else knows anything. And it's been really cool to now have 5 years of releasing music and watching the crowd, like even when we're the opener for somebody, watching the crowd kind of latch onto other songs too. And it's not just the like, where's the one hit? What you got?
Yeah. When did she get into that? No, that's I can imagine. You said something a second ago that really struck a chord with me. That when you go to shows, you are essentially doing your homework, right? You're doing research.
Oh, yeah.
How are people reacting to what people are doing on stage? You're not just watching the performer. Is that something you always did, even before you popped off?
Yeah, I think I always, I didn't necessarily think of it as like research because I wasn't doing it at that magnitude yet. But now that I've played every single kind of venue you can play, from a stadium to a little room, a closet, I feel like I just kind of watch the way that fans react and I watch the way that bands do things now. I think I study more of like, okay, well, their stage manager, he walks all the way out with the guitar to the middle of the stage. Nobody's going to meet him halfway. And so now it's a little bit more of studying what I would do now that I'm in those rooms. But back in the day, before, I call it like, I have like before villain and after villain, right? So when I was like working part-time jobs and not working part-time jobs. But before villain, yeah, it was more of the like looking and just studying what the bands were doing. But now when we're playing with like Shania Twain, I'm looking around and I'm like, how did she crack the code that there's like 15,000 people here, half of them are husbands or sons, burly 45-year-old men singing "Man, I Feel Like a Woman" like this. And it's more of the study. Yeah, dude. And it's more of the study of like, what's the sociology? What are the songs, the choruses, the hooks that are really getting people out of their seat versus sitting down? What is the lyric? Is it the lyric or the melody? So I really do. It probably annoys everyone, and my wife always rolls her eyes, but I always just stand and just like watch the crowd because I'm just genuinely curious what makes a song a hit.
Do you think that comes from reffing basketball for so long?
Done your homework. Let's go.
Studying, the world. I mean, I there's two type of people that have answers like that, and I'm one of them, by the way. It's people that just want to know how the world works. You know, I would go to like delis with my mom, and I was like the ham slicer. I'd be like, that make sense to me.
100%.
Or my dad, an athlete, college basketball. Shout out. Although he wasn't Georgia, so I won't.
It's fine.
I won't go too far. He was a Razorback, but or people that play sports, but more specifically people that ref sports, knowing the rules, knowing how it goes, what it should look like.
Yeah, it's really interesting, right? Because there are a lot of things that are very subjective, and there are things that are objective in life, and like that have like a clear cut answer or a blueprint or a process. And as much as there is a process that you can follow to become an artist that sells out arenas, there's no blueprint. There's no map to this. So I try to just kind of figure out what is the one thing? Like, what makes Body Like a Back Road, Man, I Feel Like a Woman, and Last Night by Morgan Wallen? Like, what makes all of those things the same, even though they're so different? What makes a fan latch on? And if we had the answer, we'd all be writing it, right? Like, we'd all be trying, and the answer is there is no answer. But yeah, it's everything in my music life is like the 180 of what my referee life was. And that includes like showing off parts of my personality, the approach to the game, all of it. But at the end of the day, I am a rule follower. So that's why I think I connected with basketball a lot. And I have a hard time of being like, but I followed all the rules. I wrote the chorus. It's hooky. It's this, it's that. Why isn't it working? And that's what makes music beautiful, because it's a freaking mystery, man. You never know.
Yeah, it's always going to be a mystery. Anyone that thinks they have the answer, it's like, because the X factor is that the audience changes too.
Yep.
So you can, have the exact equation for what would have worked in 2013, but that's not an answer to today.
Absolutely. Yep.
We were talking about your childhood a bit. Dunwoody, Georgia. You spent some time in Ryan Seacrest's house, but not with Ryan Seacrest, to be clear.
Not with Ryan. Yeah, so I grew up in a neighborhood called The Branches. It was like the biggest neighborhood in Dunwoody, and I just grew up in a neighborhood where there was like creeks and riding bikes, playing manhunt, all that. And one of my neighborhood like homies, Patrick Woods, shout out, his parents bought Ryan Seacrest's house when we were like 6 years old. So Ryan and Meredith and Mr. and Mrs. Seacrest, they sold their house, and we were all on the swim team together for 1 year, because it's a big thing down in Georgia. You do like swim and tennis and stuff. Sure. And we did that. And Patrick was my age, and then my little brother was always over there with Patrick's little brother. And then full circle. I never auditioned for Idol. I never did. But now I'm doing a lot of Seacrest Studio stuff. I like to spend time with those kiddos in the studio and all of the DJs, and gotten to know Meredith and Ryan really well now, and we all laugh about it. We're like, Dunwoody, let's go.
That's so cool. I mean,
it's wild.
I try to think of who's like from my hometown as like one of the guys from The Bachelor. Like that's what we got.
Hey, so which one?
Chris. I like to think that I'm the one from my hometown, but on my very limited scale. So the album's out a few months now. You just got off a pretty intense tour across the U.S. When do you schedule time for yourself? I know it kind of comes hopefully with the holidays a bit, but like, is that something that you're always looking forward to? Like, hey, I need my downtime, or you almost can't ready to get back to it?
So we ended the tour with 2 weeks straight on the West Coast of like 14 days, either sleeping in a bus or in a hotel room or whatever
Intense.
it was. So when I got in, that was the last 2 weeks of the 24-day tour. So when I got home, I was so excited to not be sharing a room with 8 other people and actually have a little time to myself and my wife and see my cat, sleep in my bed. But after like day 3, I'm itching. I'm climbing the walls, man. Yeah. I'm born to run. I just love being on the road. But you know, downtime is good. Downtime is when you create for me. And I've been digging it. We've been home for 3 weeks now, and now it's football. It's football season now, you know. This is
Go Dogs.
Yeah, go Dogs. We're in the thick of it. But no, I like to recharge. It's really hard to eat super healthy on the road, and we party a lot, and we love our beer in my bus, and it's nice to kind of come home and do the Monday through Friday thing and wake up at 6 a.m., go to bed at 9:30 and be a human a little bit. Yeah. But I'm not really made to be home for 3-4 months in a row. So catch me in February and see how I'm doing.
See how we're doing stability wise. No, I'm the same way. You know, I can't sit still for too long. I grew up in an aviation household. My mom worked for United, and we'd fly around all the time. People make fun of me because I can't be in a car for more than 2 hours before I'm like, how are we not on the other side of the country?
Yeah, why are we not flying?
It doesn't compute to me. And I sound so bougie, but in reality, we just flew when it was free. So I was always, you know, back of the bus, middle seat.
Come on.
Okay. So February rolls around. I'm assuming like, you know, you can never fully turn it off as a creative. You're still taking voice notes or whatever it may be. How long until you think, okay, I'm back in the thick of it?
It's really funny. We started this 18 minutes ago, and like I got on right at 4 o'clock because I was actually mapping out all of the big things that we're about to do for every month of next year. Like we had our final meeting this morning and kind of just mapping out, and it's going to be a really big year. It's going to be awesome. But it's honestly right now, it's just all the prep for it. And I haven't written in 6 months. I just wrote trying to follow up Villain for like 4.5 years. And when we finally finished this album, I said, need a break. I gotta live some life. I don't want to just try to write hits. I don't want to try to write a catchy title for this next album. I want to write about stuff going on in my life, the hard, the fun stuff, you know, it's just all of it. And so starting out in January, you know, the downtime comes with, again, the creativity and the time. And right now, it's a lot of voice notes. It's a lot of fiddling around on the piano and the guitar and trying to get some songs started. But come January and February, man, we're going to try to write this entire second album. So that way in March, we can just start cutting. Just so we can start cutting in the studio when I'm home from tour kind of thing and be on pace for another album.
When you have gone 6 months without writing, I mean, you know, I'm sure that's a little hyperbolic. Like you're never not thinking of something, but like actually sitting down and being a writer's room and whatnot. Do you ever have any hesitation? Hesitation's not the right word, but do you ever like, oh, we got to like let the faucet flow for a while before, you know, I start to get to the good stuff? Yeah.
You know, I think as most kids do, like you start writing by yourself because you're like an angsty 13-year-old that figured out how to play G, C, and D, and you're just trying to write the next Taylor Swift smash. But ever since I started co-writing, I've really just realized I am a great writer, but I genuinely enjoy collaboration more than I do trying to write a song by myself. So for me, like I'm not even really trying to get choruses started. I'm not even trying to really write because then that idea is kind of latched onto that first thing that I did, as opposed to if I go, and I would hate to like burn an idea and latch onto something that I could have done way better with 2 or 3 other people in the room. So right now it is just trying to generate ideas, and the key is, if anyone's listening that is trying to do this for a living, the key is to not be lazy about the ideas that pop into your head. Because if I had $1 for every time that I'm like, that's a killer idea, I'll remember it though because it's so good. And then that shit's gone in 30 seconds, 30 minutes, 30 days. I probably have $1,000, like the amount of ideas that just come and go. So right now it's just the discipline of making sure that I'm writing like everything down, anything that pops in my head, trying to write down. So that way when I get into the retreats or the writing rooms, whatever it is, I come with a lot of honesty and a lot of stupid ideas too that'll probably get shot down, but that's the beauty of it all. You know, you just write down what's on your heart and see what you can make out of it.
Totally. You have an album, like I said, I Know What I Want, came out in September, so you're already on the road. when it came out. So you flip from that switch of everyone hearing something for the first time to like, if they're a fan, then they got the chance to stream it on the way to the concert even.
Yep.
At what point, and does it even happen? And maybe I'm being a little presumptuous here. Are you like, that's something we're doing live with a song that I wish I could have put on the recorded version?
You know, I actually have zero regrets about anything we did on the recorded version. I've always really loved like the Super Bowl halftime shows and stuff, like everything Adam Blackstone produces for like Justin Timberlake, Bruno Mars, the extra hits, the making the arrangement like one step above whatever the recording was, I think is a really cool thing. So we decided to do that this year, and I wouldn't have put any of those hits on the album because it's just a little too musical and a little too niche, but it makes it really exciting for the fans because they're used to one thing, and then all of a sudden it might be like it cuts out and then it comes back in, and we've learned that those are the biggest pops of the show, of when we do something that's just a little bit different, especially a song that's 4 or 5 years old. But the thing that was so cool about this tour, because the album came out about a halftime, like right after, I think, show 12 is when the album came out, and it was the first time in my entire career, been playing shows for 12 years, first time that my entire set list was released and out for the world.
Wow.
And that people had the ability to know every single word to every song. And that's a really, really special thing. And I don't take that for granted. I've just thinking of all of the shows that I played where we'd only have one song out to now we have got the 22 songs on our set list. Everything is available for people. And it's just really cool. And I'm just so grateful.
You don't think about that a lot. I mean, anyone that has that luxury has a career behind them, obviously, and that's got to be such a cool milestone I've never even thought about. You mentioned Adam Blackstone, who's a musical director. Also plays bass for everyone, but notably Timberlake. And for anyone hearing this and going, what does Lily mean by hits? It's that bounce, bounce, like almost a staccato sound. Yep. Hear Sexy Back for the first time live, you'll be like that, and it's usually the moment when they blast the crowd with lights and whatnot. But it's something that gets your adrenaline going. It's interesting that you called that out. Do you remember attending a concert where you're like, what was that? Does that have a name, that kind of composition?
I referenced Blackstone because it was probably that, I think, 2015 Timberlake halftime show that I was just kind of like, dude, this is so cool. But when it comes to like a whoa, I mean, the first time I saw Paul McCartney, I was just like, I've seen Springsteen 4 times now, and I'm seeing Paul, and somehow this is one-upping Springsteen on an entertainment factor, which I would assume like an Elton John or a Billy Joel. There's just so much like color there.
I wouldn't have guessed that, but yeah.
But I mean, like Springsteen's incredible because the dude plays for 3.5 hours with no opener, and he was like, he was like 68 doing it. Now he's 78 and is playing for only 2 hours. But yeah, I would think Paul, I think Paul and Taylor Swift are probably the only two that I've seen in person that has just been a no-brainer. What am I hearing right now? Kind of experience.
Taylor's interesting because obviously she's at such a opus now that she has her haters, she has the Swifties. But I always talk to people in the music business about this a lot, and anytime they start to lean towards the have you seen it live? Have you seen it? Have you seen Eras? Because I don't care if you don't really love the music. If you see the production value behind it, that is its own masterpiece of art. And so many people in country that you've named off are doing that right. But I mean, I grew up before I was in my pop punk days. I was a #1 fan of NSYNC.
Yeah,
my first concert was Pop Odyssey.
Come on.
Which was the stadium tour, and I remember seeing that and going like, that's such a massive, you're in a different world. It's one thing to have lighting design. It's another thing when they're flying over you on zip lines and whatnot.
Insane.
And it's cool to see that come back. You have so much energy on stage. Do you ever think you're going to do any of the, I don't want to call it cheesy stuff, but some of the over the top, do you want to pop out of a stage at any point? Do you want to do the toaster?
Oh my God. Yeah. I think popping out of the stage, some sort of that's about as theatrical as I'll get. I'm not much of an acrobat. I can't do a cartwheel, but by God, I'll run around and lose my lung capacity.
We've seen.
But yeah, man, I think Taylor is just special. I don't think there's anybody like her because she also just plays the record exactly how you hear it, which is kind of the antithesis of what I was just saying.
Mm-hmm.
But I really, really respect that. I think it's really cool. She also, it's an easy habit to form. I think we've seen it in country the most, and I can absolutely admit that I do it. There's such a high that you're on, knowing the fans know the songs. And, you know, I could easily be like, in Villain, I could be like, if that's how you're feeling.
Yeah.
And let them sing it.
And let them take it.
And it is a habit that can form. And I've been trying to break that habit because I have to remember, like, I don't necessarily want that when I go see my favorite artist. I want to hear them sing the hook. And Taylor Swift, it is mind-blowing that she's got the loudest crowd of anything I've ever heard in my life. And she sings every note, 3.5 hours, and she does it night after night after night. She's a freaking athlete, dude. It's incredible.
And you still hear her as loud as her crowd may be.
Yep.
I just had that thought not too long ago, and I get it. I get it from both sides because it has to be addicting. As someone that spent so much time, effort, love, blood, sweat, tears to write something and see a crowd scream it back at you, yeah, I would be holding the microphone to them every time. But also, as you know, the person in the crowd, it's like I didn't come to hear the guy next to me sing off key. Like I want. 100%. I get if there's a call and repeat section, but you know. That's that wherewithal and that discipline for you to even try to correct that a little bit, and even correct maybe not the right word, but into the course change it a little bit is that's a lot. So you are a study of the game, and it's a rarity. You know, not that you need me to tell you that, but a lot of people aren't aware of that kind of stuff. They go, "This is my way. This is what I'm going to do," and you're doing that, but you're also always looking to better it, which is very cool. I want to wrap up our time. I know you're busy, and I don't want to take too much away from you. 13 tracks on I Know What I Want. I love this thing start to finish, but number 7 really gets me. Only Lonely One. The first time I heard the lyric, take the long way home just to pass my house, I was like, this hits close to home because my ex lives halfway between my studio and my house, and it's an effort to like not go, you know, that way. But I get it. I get it. If you want to know what makes Lily Rose special and you're hearing this and you haven't had the luxury of hearing the entire album yet, we're just going to pretend that you have. Go check it out.
Dude.
But I will say it's authenticity and cohesiveness at its best. I'm very, very excited to see what's coming from you. And it's been an absolute pleasure, Lily. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Man, this has been awesome. I could talk to you for another 30 minutes, dude, but thank you for the love.
Hold on to that.
Hey, thank you for the love on Only Lonely One, man. That's it's been kind of, I thought it was going to be a sleeper, and it turns out it's actually been a lot of people's favorite song. So we're adding it to the set list in the spring because it's a sleeper a little bit. I love that.
Turns out a lot of us have heartbreak. We can relate to that. So.
Right? Hey, don't we all?
Reserve the next 30 minutes for sometime in the spring. I want to make sure we catch up. But Lily, it's been incredible.
Would love that. Thanks again, dude. Awesome. Appreciate you.